Today we continue our build of Eaglemoss Hero Collector's 1/8 scale Ecto-1 with issue number 6. Hey everybody, Jason here of GhostbustersNews.com, and as always, Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube. And yes, today we're back again as we're going to continue our build of the 1/8 scale Ecto-1 from Eaglemoss Hero Collector. And before we dive into today's build, as always, if you'd like to actually sign up for your very own subscription and start building your very own Ecto-1, which I certainly highly recommend, we've got links right down below in the description. Click them, sign up today, and start your build. And I'll tell you, I've been having an absolute blast with this build. This is really the first thing like of this size that I've ever actually, built outside of a few like makeshift props. And I gotta say, overall, the actual build is easy, but the actual overall quality is like amazing. It's like a 10 out of 10. The majority of this Ecto-1 is actually like metal, which is blowing my mind. Seriously, when it comes to an Ecto-1, the quality of this is just unmatched. In fact, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead, turn the camera around, let's go to the build table, and let's see what we're building today. Alright guys, so we've switched it over to the build table here, and once again today, we're going to be kicking off issue number 6 of Eaglemoss Hero Collector's Build an Ecto-1 series as we take a look at both stage 15 and stage 16. So let's go in here and see exactly what we're building today. It looks like stage 15 is going to be the right front suspension and tie rod, which if you checked out our previous videos, you know we've already built the left front suspension. So this is going to be kind of like a retread of what we've already done. And on top of that, let's go ahead and take a look at stage 16 here. The front suspension and steering, which we've pretty much already done. So it looks like right now we're going to be finishing up some of the pieces at the front end of the Ecto-1. And speaking of pieces, let's go ahead and bring in today's pieces here. Right here we got stage 15, we got stage 16. So give me a second, let me tear into these bags, and we'll start building today. Alright, there we go. All unboxed, unbagged there. So first and foremost, oh, actually, let me change it from stage 16. We're not quite there just yet. Let's go back to stage 15 here. So our first step is going to be assembling the lower suspension arm. Let's go ahead and grab the individual pieces here. So as you can see, that matches up. Oh, actually, let me turn it around. There we go. Now that matches up there. So once again, it looks like here we're going to be taking the lower steering knuckle connector and inserting it into the gap at the end of the lower suspension arm. This is the arm. This is the little, what do they call it? Once again here, the lower steering knuckle connector. So that seems easy enough, and we're going to be attaching those with a couple of EM screws, which I've got a nice little bag right here, so let me go ahead and tear into here. Alright, I got both screws in there, so that is nice. Well, not tight once again, much like the other side, a little floppy there, but it gets secured a little more so later on in this build. And then from there, we're going to be attaching the 15i piece here, which is the rubber bumper, as they call it. And yes, it lives up to the name because it's a small, tiny little piece of, well, not rubber, just plastic. And all we got to do there is just pop this right on top, and then we secure that in place using one GP screw. Alright, so that's in there. That is nice and secure. From there, what do we got? Constructing the upper suspension arm. So let's go ahead and grab said upper suspension arm. How does this go? Like that? Okay. And then from there, we're going to be grabbing this other piece, which looks kind of like this piece here that we already used. The only change up is this one has a hole in it, this one does not. What is this thing called? The upper steering knuckle connector. So that's this little piece here. So let's go ahead and attach this in here using, once again, a couple of EM screws. Alright, so I got the second screw in place here, and that looks like that. From there, figure B, which is 15D, which is the shaft. Slot the shaft, they say. Alright, I'm going to slot the shaft. We got this right here. So we're going to slot that into the wider end of the upper suspension arm, which is right up yonder here. So how does this go in? Like this. Okay. And once again, we're going to be attaching this in place using a couple of those wonderful, wonderful, wonderful EM screws. Alright, so I got the second screw in there. And let me say, guys, if you are thinking of signing up to this Eaglemoss Hero Collector Ecto-1 build, first of all, yes, go ahead and do it. It's an amazing, amazing build. I'm having a blast. But let me say, with all the craziness and madness happening in the world right now, this is almost like a therapy session for me. Like, I can't get over how much I'm thoroughly enjoying this build. And I know, like, I hardly have an Ecto-1 here. I'm just on stage 15, but this is already my favorite Ecto-1 in my collection. And you guys know I have a lot of Ecto-1s, but already from the level of detail I'm seeing with this build and just the amount of time I'm gonna actually, obviously spend on this build, This already is my favorite Ecto-1. I love this thing already. Once again, I cannot recommend this just more than enough. If you're on the fence about it, just do it. Sign up to it. This is an amazing piece. All right, let me take a break from sounding like a pitchman. Sorry, I kind of went on like a bit of a tangent there, guys. But we got this in there now, so that is looking like it should. So step 3 is going to be fitting the arms to the frame. Let me grab the frame here right quick. All right, we're bringing this boy into frame here, and this is where I start getting really excited with this build, where once again all the big pieces really start coming together. So let's move this a little bit over so I can read the instructions here. So it looks like our first step is going to be attaching this little guy, the upper suspension arm. So we're gonna move this around this way, it looks like. Actually, how does it go? This way? Yeah, this way. Okay. So we got that in there, and there's 2 like little holes right here that's gonna go fix right into here. And then for figure B, we gotta turn this around and secure this into place using 2 HM screws. All right, so I got that piece in there now. Once again, flopping back and forth, but that's okay. Once again, we're gonna be securing that right here in a second. Figure C, oh, actually, you know what? I was supposed to keep that over here like this. So figure C, we're gonna be attaching the other piece. We've already built the lower suspension arm. And once again, we're going to be attaching this much like we did the other one here. So let's go ahead and put this right into place there. And to attach that in place, we got to grab these 2 like little mounting brackets here. So let's put that one on there. We'll do them one at a time, obviously, because we do have to screw these in place. And we're going to be screwing those in place using a couple of IM screws. So let me go ahead and unbag those and get those ready. All right, so we got the first mounting bracket in place. This guy ain't going nowhere. So let's go ahead and fix the second bracket here. We'll screw this boy up and yeah, move on to the next page. All right, so we got both brackets in place now, and as you can see, up, down, we're good there. So let's go ahead and move on to page number 10 here in issue number 6. And we're going to be assembling the brake drum here. So let's go ahead and grab those pieces. So for the brake drum, the first thing we're going to be doing is pushing the center of the steering knuckle, which is 15K. This right here is the steering knuckle. Yeah, right there. We're going to be pushing that through the middle of the backing plate, which is this piece. And you'll kind of see there's like a couple like little nubs right here. There's a couple holes on the plate, and those just line up. And then we've got to attach a couple of EM screws through those holes back here. So I got that in place there, and then from there, figure B here, which is what, 15M, that is the brake drum. So we're gonna be placing that on top of the backing plate. On the side, you have just driven the screws through. So here, and what do we got? Yeah, so everything's just going to attach nicely, and all the holes are going to align, and we're going to attach everything in place using 3 HP screws. Okay, so we got this piece all finished now. It looks like figure C, we're going to be attaching this in place here. I'm just seeing how do we do that here? Looks like this. Yeah. Pop that little piece up there, and we're going to secure this in place using a JM screw. Alright, so I got that screw kind of in place, guys. It's a little bit loose right now, but when I secure the screw that's going to like affix it to the bottom piece, I'm going to go back and retighten that one up a little bit there. So what do we got here? We're done. Yeah, this piece right now. So from there, it looks like we're going to be fitting the shock absorber. And it's pretty easy to do, so all we got to do is just lift this portion up here, and let's find the spring here. There we go. Got that. All we gotta do is just fit the spring right in place there. Close this up, make sure everything's kind of nice and connected, and yeah, we're now going to screw the other portion of that into the bottom of the frame using an IM screw. There we go. Alright, so that is now in place. Both tires, or both kind of sides here, feel like they have the same tension to them. So that is good. What else? So figure C is done. Figure D, 15C, which is the shock absorber. We're going to be inserting that into the hole right here, so let's go ahead and grab that piece. And there's the little shock absorber there. Let's go ahead and pop that into place. Got to find like the little groove. There we go. So that's in there now. We flip it around, and we're going to secure that in place there using 1 HM screw. And we got that there. Once again, being a shock absorber, you really got to put like a lot of pressure down in here to make sure everything attaches properly together, and everything once again is nice and tight and in place. All right, so now that we got that in place here, we are going to moving on to fitting the tie rod, which is the last step for stage. What are we on here? Stage 15, I think, or 16? Stage 15. Okay. So we're going to be fitting the tie rod here. Let's go ahead and once again bring the actual main frame back into position here. And yeah, this is the small little tie rod here. And yeah, we'll just be affixing pretty much this portion over to this portion by a couple of, what do we got here, an HM screw and a KM screw. Alright, so last screw is in place and it is looking good. Stage 15 build, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it actually looks like. So yeah, I mean, it looks the same. So we're doing something right. Yay! Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to stage 16, which is the front suspension and steering. Now I'm just going to clean up all these screws right quick here. I've got like a little, kind of like a little container I've been labeling and keeping all the extra screws in. Thank you to everybody out there who suggested I do that, because it certainly has come in handy. Move this back a little bit, move this up here so you guys can see the instructions a little better, and let's bring in stage number 16. So once again, the front suspension and the steering. So let me go ahead and tear into this boy. Alright, so we got a decent amount of screws and tiny little pieces this time around. Let's cast those aside. Then we've got the actual main bits here and there, and the first thing I see here, the big thing I see here, is the front stabilizer bar, part 1. So let's go ahead and crack that open and put this in place. Okay, so let's grab this. It looks like we're actually going to, yeah, be putting it in place like first and foremost here. So, alright, so we got the main frame, the chassis here right up on the build table. So figure A, it looks like we're going to be attaching that. We're going to be attaching that. Oh, actually I need to put a couple of, what do we got here, 16B? These little 16B pieces inside of that stabilizer bar first and foremost, and we're going to be attaching those using some BP screws, which I've got right here. Alright, I think that does it there. Stabilizer bar should in fact stabilize now. So where are we going to be attaching this to? It looks like, okay, so there's two little holes on the bar here now from adding those like little pins in. There's two holes here, so we're going to put this in place. And yeah, so this is all going to attach using a couple of BP screws. So let me go ahead. Oh, actually I just used BP screws, so let's go ahead and secure this into place here. So got the first screw into place there. Let's go ahead and swing this around, and once again another what do we got here? BP screw, I should say, going through this hole. So let's go ahead and do this one up. Alright, second screw's into place there, and then looks like we're actually going to be attaching, what do we got here, a couple of 16C, which they refer to as mounting brackets, because that's obviously what they are. So yeah, we're going to further secure this in place with a couple of mounting brackets. Let me nab those out of here, put those into place. Alright, so I got the first mounting bracket in place. So there's like a little nub that fits inside, so it kind of positions it for you. So let's see how easy it is to get these two BM screws inside of here. Actually, pretty surprisingly easy, even though it doesn't really give you that much space to kind of work with. That screw went in pretty nicely. Let's see if I can get this one in here. Yeah, that one as well. Nice and easy. So we got the first mounting bracket in place there. Let's go ahead and pop in the next. Alright, so we got the second bracket in place there. This is nice and secure now. So coming up next, we're going to be assembling the steering arm. And to do so, we have to grab 16D here, which is the arm bracket, and 16E, which is the idler arm, if I can get it out of there. There we go. Alright, so the idler arm. Bust out a couple more of those KM screws, which we used in stage 15, and we're going to have ourselves a new fancy schmancy piece. And you know what? I totally grabbed the wrong piece. This is actually the idler arm. So let's go ahead and just follow figure A's instructions here. So we put those through, and we're going to attach it using, once again, one of those KM screws here. Alright, so that is in place there. That looks, yeah, looks like it should there. And then from there, we're going to be securing it to the actual frame. So let's go ahead and turn this around and make it look like, well, what we have here, so I don't make any mistakes. Looks like this just goes right on here, and we're going to be securing that in place using an LM screw. So LM screw is in there, so figure B is now done. Looks like we're going to flip the chassis around, and they're going to attach that right in there. We got like a little hole, so what do we got? We got to grab a DM screw. Alright, so that is now in place, and this piece actually kind of suspends the steering rod up a little bit, so it's not like hanging and so low there. So that is now complete. Going on from there, we're going to be moving on to step 3, fitting the steering pinion, which, let's grab Well, this piece it looks like we need. This is a nice metal piece. And once again, pretty much this entire piece here is all metal. There's a few like little plastic pieces here and there, but yeah, for the most part, all metal here when it comes to the actual chassis, the underbelly here of the Ecto-1. So let's go ahead and once again grab the pinion base here, which, where am I attaching this? Make sure I got it right. So if I'm looking at it from this angle, all right, so right in here it looks like. Oh, and that actually rests really, really nicely. I mean, it's like it's home. It fits perfectly there. It looks like we're gonna be using a DM screw up top here, and then also an LM screw to secure that into place. All right, so DM screw, LM screw, both in place, nice and secure. There we go, nothing's coming out of there. So coming up next, the piece I already grabbed here, 16H, which they're referring to as, where's 16H here? The steering pinion, there it is. This is the pinion, I knew it. Through the base, so we just kind of like just rest that. There we go, right through. That's easy enough there. Then it looks like we're gonna flip it around and yeah, put everything, lock everything into place. Before we run the screw through there, I also got to attach, what's this, 16J, the pitman arm. So we're gonna attach that into this piece right here. Yeah, it looks like there's like a little groove, so everything's gonna attach nicely there. Let's spin this around, and once again, looks like we're gonna be securing this to the actual steering rod up top here. And we're going to be doing so, yeah, there we go. We're going to be doing so using 2 DM screws. Alright, so we got that in there, nice and secure, nice and tight. Let's go ahead and move on to the next page here, which is going to be page number 14. We're attaching things. We're going to be building... Oh, I'm so excited. We're attaching the tire, we're attaching the steering column. Mainly, we're also putting the engine inside the Ecto-1 now. Oh, this is gonna be rewarding. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with step number 4, adding the steering column. Now, wouldn't you know it, I got the steering column right here in my hand. So let's go ahead and turn this where it's supposed to be. All right, so it says ensure that both wheel bases are headed straight forward, which they are right now. Then push the steering column 16I, which I've got right here, into the steering pinion. Okay, so I think that's how we're supposed to have it. From there, figure B here, which I've already got in my hand. Piece 16F, which is the, what do we have here? The pinion housing. So we're going to fix that on top of here, which it should. Oh, there we go. Everything's nice and secure together. Well, not secure yet because I have to attach this piece using, what do we got here? 2 MM screws and 2 DM screws. Let's go ahead and get those in here. All right, and I know right now this step is the, adding the steering column, but it just hit me. It just hit me that I'm building like the first steps of the steering wheel, and I'm kind of geeking out here, guys. I'm legit so excited, once again, to have this start to actually look like the Ecto-1 and once again start connecting all these pieces together. I'm pretty pumped for it. And you know what, guys? You know what? I said I probably shouldn't get this excited because I know if I did, I would make a mistake, and I did. So I've actually got to take this off of here because there's a very important kind of piece here where we got to make sure that the bottom of this rod is like the flat base, which I didn't actually do that properly. The bottom piece of the rod is actually on the right-hand side right now, so yeah, I gotta take this off of here and fix that right quick. Alright, there we go. Now this is looking perfect, just like it should look. So figure B is now done. Moving on to that, we're gonna be going to fitting the engine. Whew, okay, so pretty pumped about that. Let's go ahead and grab the engine. And if you guys missed this build, be sure to check it out here on the Ghostbusters News YouTube channel. Because yeah, this was one hell of a process already. And how do we attach this in here? It looks like this just kind of rests right there. Yeah, looks pretty good. All right, actually, I'll move this back a little bit. So there we go. Okay, so that is now in place there for figure A. From there, it looks like we're going to be turning this upside down, and we're going to be securing this engine in place using a couple of IM screws. So let's go ahead and flip her around. All right, so I got the second screw in place, and okay, there we go, guys. Wow. Okay, so this definitely just added a lot of mass to it now that everything is secure. Oh man, so pumped. So we've got that secure using an IM screw there. It looks like we're also actually going to flip it once again around and further secure it using an LM screw back here. So you got the LM screw now going inside. That is secure. Whew, okay, so that's in there. So coming up next, it looks like figure D. We're going to be running some cables and wires from the engine down into the side here. into the actual steering column, it looks like. So let's go ahead and flip this around. Let's bring in the ever so important tweezers, and yeah, we're gonna run some wires from here into here, it looks like. So I got the wires in place there, looking good. So that's figure D there, so we're good. We're done with that portion. Let's go ahead and move on to the next, which is going to be fitting the left front wheel. So from that portion there, it looks like we're going to be locating the left front wheel, which I've got right here. If I can grab it, there we go. Whew, I've been waiting to connect this for a good long while, guys. So once again, I'm really excited about this portion here. So let's go ahead and turn this just how it is in the manual here. Okay, we got that. All right, so for the wheel here, the most important thing we got to match up is there's like a little peg there coming out. We got to make sure that we align it to the hole here on the cap. So that looks good. And then from there, we're going to secure this in place using one LM screw. So let's go ahead and drop that in there. All right, and we've got the wheel on there really tight. So it looks like the last bit we got to do is just attach the cap to the wheel. So let's go ahead and just get that right in there. Put a little pressure. There we go. Everything is in place there, and that just about does it. In fact, I think that does do it for this installment here. Stage 16 build. This is what the assembled piece should look like, and as you can see, this is in fact what the assembled piece looks like. And I mean, you guys are looking at it on your screen right now. I am so impressed with this. This has been probably one of my favorite steps so far, because this is really helping this Ecto-1. Like, this step really brought everything together here. Yes, there's tons of exterior pieces, like obviously the hood and like the main grille that we've we've built that we haven't actually assembled onto here as of yet. But once again, this does a great job at kind of giving us a general idea of the sizing of this Ecto-1. Once again, it's going to come in about 1/8 scale, which means it's roughly about 3 feet long. And it is going to make one hell of a display piece right here in the Ghostbusters News collection room. And like I said, most importantly, the actual build process, I am thoroughly enjoying. And if you want to start your very own build of this 1/8 scale Ecto-1 from Eagle Moss Hero Collector, we've got links found right down below in the description. Click them, sign up today, and start your very own build of this Ecto-1, once again, from Eagle Moss Hero Collector. So that does it for today's video here as we kicked off issue number 6 of Eagle Moss Hero Collector's Ecto-1. I love it. I love where this is going. I'm so excited once again that all the pieces are like starting to come together. And if you want to share my excitement, if you want to start your very own build, as I said at the top of this video, we've got links found right down below in the description. Click them and sign up and start your subscription today. Also, if you'd like to help out Ghostbusters News, a quick reminder, as always, we do have the Ghostbusters News Patreon page. Link to that can be found right down below in the description there. When you sign up, you get access to early content, exclusive content, and also enter to win giveaways. And best of all, you help out the Ghostbusters News YouTube channel and, of course, GhostbustersNews.com. It's all win-win, guys. And that does it for today. As always, be sure to subscribe to Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube. Bust that little bell notification icon to stay up to date with all the Ghostbusters happenings. And I will see everybody right back here next time. Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube.